Now, your Raj Aryan,
Yes, sir.
your father is a government servant
Yes, sir.
with earning of 70,000 rupees.
Yes, sir.
Mother is a homemaker. You got a sister who's younger to you. She's class 6. You did your Matric with 70%, came down to 61.7% in 12th, and you say you have done BTech is 80%, which should have been given in the CGPA which is granted to you, which you have not done it. Next, you have not participated in NCC or any other activity, Beyond that, you have written only one aspect, that is interest and hobbies. You have written cooking as your hobby. Driving is one of a hobby. Cooking and driving. These two itself indicates you are not a person who would like to enjoy life. Would like to enjoy life, isn't it? And you would like to have best of things, being probably only one son. Your development itself has got its own understanding. Because father and mother would have concentrated wholly towards you. They would have given everything best that is available to them for your development and progress in your life. Beyond that, you have just party in cultural activities, social cultural activities. You have talked about one best activities that you have mentioned. Nothing beyond that. That clearly indicates that you are not involved as a social person. Your social activity is almost missing. Nothing other than your education is reflected in PIQ. Other than education. And education itself is questionable, primarily because in 10th getting 70% is not a big issue. Coming back again to 12th, you came down to 61%, which is certainly bad. In spite of that, probably what were the reasons? You got entry to engineering college, you have done your engineering. Fair enough. You have say you are, I granted, I take it that you're given 80%, I take that you got it. I got my doubt, your CGPA would have been different. You won't have gone to 9 CGPA.
Yes, sir.
What is CGPA you had?
Sir, it is 8.1.
8.1. And when you converted to percentage, what will the percentage?
Sir, it will be 81%, something.
81%. Okay. So now what is that? So you have done what was that? That's right. So one thing good, inspired you have come back from negativity to positivity. You are not so good earlier, and now you have come back to better half, that you have done well in education, which gets reflected in your self-description test also, when you have talked about it, that I would like to do better now. I did not do academic well earlier. Now I want to do well. So that gets confirmed from the system. You are going upward trend. So it's a positivity to that extent. It's very, very positive. Okay. So overall persona that I have made out is a only child, only son of his family, where he would have got the maximum attention because your sister itself is quite young, much younger to you. You would have got the full attention. You would have got the best of whatever your father and mother would have put to give it to you. You have not utilized the resources that was given to you till now. That is one. You are one of those passive person who would like to enjoy and live your life. You have not been adventurous because you have shown no activity at all. All these particular things get confirmed from the 12 stories that you have written. I do not know that we'll talk about the stories later on. First and foremost, very first story, probably if I recollect back, you have talked about that Azad hero is nervous and his father is a cardiologist. And as a cardiologist, father comes and tells him to perform yoga and other activities so that he can take control of himself, isn't it? We'll talk about the stories later. I'm just trying to briefly talk. What does it indicate? We'll talk slightly more later on. So the next story you have talked about it, I think it's uh, you and your sibling, that your brother and also what brother and sister have gone to participate somewhere in Benares, and you were walking across, some goons have tried to surround you. You ran away from the system. You reported to the police, isn't it? Third, you have talked about uh, that some weapons were in EME. Some no, he is supposed to be EME personnel, the electronic mechanical engineer personnel, who finds the equipments are not maintained, and there is some sort of inspection is there by brigade commander, and he along with his superior, there's some captains are you are trying to do the inspection, do the servicing. We'll talk the nitty-gritty of it. Next is probably you are talking about is your uh, you want someone was there who has inspired you. You have gone to the grave of some person, and you feel he has done a great job, and you have been inspired, and you have become an officer. That's all. That's I'm just trying to talk you one to somebody itself. What does it indicate? Next comes something. You have gone a librarian. You are a librarian. You find some register is missing. Some register is missing. After register missing around, you find you are sitting over time to control it off, and finally you decide that it was all miss was created by on one of the new employees who has joined in the library, isn't it? Okay. Next, there was some probably you found out some thief going to the neighbor's house, and you call the police, and the thief was caught. Correct. Next, I think there was some there's some fault in the lift. A girl is the hero on the front of the girl. She tells someone to correct it around there. That has not been corrected. When he finds around there, he comes back. He said, "Give me a screwdriver. I'll correct myself." So he becomes the top engineer, right? So that is what my Nikhil was trying to tell him. He is a person who is very much interested in mechanical engineering. That is the what he becomes engineering. Screwdriver tightening is going to be the engineering field. Very nice, good, great. Now, next, what is there? Again, a great story, very great story. When you talk about it, you're born to enjoy yourself with your uncle at Delhi, and somewhere, I don't know, Delhi or somewhere else, where you find that your final project is on. You purchase the ticket, and you ask your uh, uncle to drop you to the railway station. I reached. Very nice, great. आगे चलिए. Next, you find you are trying to be going for some sort of you are a playback singer. You sing or what?
No, sir.
No, you don't sing. So that's again a visualization that you want to imagine something that you can't have. Normally it happens that way. So it's a dream comes true, isn't it? Very nice. So what is that? You have got you find a mic which is faulty around there. You look around for you find the second mic and you perform the playback singer. Great. Very nice. Good. Then there was some I couldn't fully make out what is there. Then you lastly second some you find a vehicle which is standing there. It cannot hold a start. You went as you become a driver and you want to hold start the vehicle because your driving is your hobby. So you become a driver. Very nice. Great. And last story, you have become a dog trainer. Dog trainer. And a dog has bitten you also, but in spite of it, you have ensured that that idiot, the dog, becomes a good dog. Very nice. That's the total run. Now imagine that's the persona. I have made a persona from your PIQ. Persona is he is a person who like to enjoy, a person who is not a hardworking, a person who like to take credit for every system on there. मेरी कोई गलती नहीं है, पास हुआ फेल हुआ, that has got nothing to do with it. So overall persona was there. I'm disinterested in you as an assessor to look at you. Well, let me just tell you I'm not very happy. The IQ tells me I'm not defensive. Once I say, okay, let me say on the country, then I do expect if you want to do well, you would have written all 12 stories. None of the 12 stories would ever entitle you to become a clerk in Indian Army. Leave aside an officer. I'm getting very frankly around that. The very first story, when I look at it, and that's a sufficient indicator that you cannot. I have put up, I call it what is that angularity. As an assessor, as a psychologist, I'll put across unfit. Even others give you 200 marks, 400 marks. I'll say I will not pass at all, and you will never pass. So the weaknesses that you have tried to find out, and if you are trying to, you means you have not yet analyzed yourself. You do not know what is expected in SSP. All of this is what I was telling Nikhil also. Most of the people think that they have done, but they are strong here. They want to come back only my psychology make karunga ya the GTO what they take my interview. That's not the solution. You don't even know what is right, what is not so right, what is expected, and then what is and how to do about it. SSB is existing for donkey's years. But how many people make it? That's the problem. So based on this, the total summary. Any doubt, any question on the basis? Then we'll talk about especially each story we'll try and go through.
No, sir. Nothing.
Okay. Wait. Akash, any question?
No, sir. Nothing from my side.
Okay. So now we'll stop this